Alright guys, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what type of questions will be in your test. Okay, you people don't normally watch my videos, my effort, but now you have to watch because you're writing the test. Okay, I gave you the scope about the test. Now I choose a question for, right, according to the scope I gave you. So when you see these questions here, guys, you're gonna go to your book or textbook, notebook, whatever you're starting from. You're gonna try to do the same type of questions. All right, let's start from this question here. Okay, question says 4x squared minus 36 equals to 0. Right, so we can solve this question by the method of take a square root of both sides. First, it's 4x squared and 36. First, we need to simplify this. So divide both sides by 4. Right, so then this will be what? 4x squared divided by 4 will be 1x squared, right? So that's going to be 1x squared. X squared, 36 divided by 4 will be 9 equals to 0. Right, then x squared equals to what? Equals to, take this negative 9 to other side. It's going to be 9. Right, so now we're going to take the square root of both sides. Okay, let's do so. If I take square root of x squared, guys, I'm not gonna go into details. Remember, guys, we said the even powers always come out of the root as half. So why? It's because this is square root. Square root has a hidden 2 there, right? So this power is going to be divided by this power. That's how it comes out. Okay, so I'm going to do a recapping for you. Right, so this is going to be what? Then it comes out as x equals to, now this is, guys, we're gonna take, right, one positive of that and then negative of that. I'm gonna tell you why. Right, then x will be equals to 9 is, how does it come out of the root? It comes out of the root as 3, or we're going to say because of negative and positive, we're going to say is 3 or negative 3. Now the reason why we're saying that is this, right? So you see here we said x squared equals to, I'm going to write in different color. When we work this thing out, we said x squared equals to, right, 9. And then we said x is either 3 or negative 3. Okay, we're just going to try it here. So if x is 3, guys, we're going to just see if it is true. 3 to the power of 2 doesn't that mean 3 times 3, right? Because the power tells us how many times we multiply the base. So 3 to the power of 3, 2 is 3 times 3, and that is 9. But there is another number that will give me the same answer. So it is going to be this. Now, two things we need to remember about this. Negative times negative is positive. Now, the same thing, yeah, the power is 2 means I'm going to multiply this negative 3 2 times. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. So this is also positive 9. That's why, guys, we will take the square root of, right, this quadratic equation. The reason we taken the positive and negative, because there will be two values that will give us the same answer. So as you can see, one is this one, the other one is this one. They both give us 9. So basically they both make this equation right. That's why we take in the positive and negative. Okay. Okay, so this question, obviously not the same question like this, will be in your test. Question 2. Okay, let's look at this question here. The question says what? It says x minus 3 in the bracket to the power of 2 minus 16 equals to 0. So this is another question for the same topic, taking the square root of both sides. So guys, as you can see here, right, x minus 3 to the power of 2. It is, again, right, square root, taking the square root of both sides. Why? Because this 16 is basically what? 4 to the power of 2. Now, if I write this equation like this, since so this is going minus 4 to the power of 2. Can you see? The power of 2 is here, the power of 2 is here. So it's square, right? So power of 2 is square. So difference of two squares. Difference of this square minus this one. So that's why this is also a difference of two squares. The only difference from previous question, here this square is not square of a number, it's square of an expression, x minus 3. Okay, but it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. So now what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna say this equals to, right, equals to x minus 3 to the power of 2 equals to, take this negative 4 to that side, it's going to be 4 to the power of 2. Right, then if I take square root of the both side, x minus 3 to the power of 2, guys, I'm just going to write it here again. Right, x minus 3 to the power of 2 equals to 4 to the power of 2. If I take square root of this, guys, how this comes out, it's going to be x minus 3, right? And if I take square root of this, remember guys, we take the positive and negative value. So this is going to be what? Right? That will be equals to, it's going to be 4, and then I'm going to write it here because we can have two values. I'm going to say x minus 3 will equals to negative 4. Right, then, because this is an expression, you see x is not alone here, so I need to leave x alone. Then I'm going to do this. X equals to, right, 4 is here. I'm going to take this negative 3 to this side. That is going to be positive 3, right? Then x equals to 4 plus 3, 7, right? Okay, then I come here. I'm going to work now this out. This equals to, I'm going to say x equals x minus 3 equals to negative 4. Then I'm going to leave x alone. I'm going to do this. X equals to negative 4 is already there, right? Negative 4. This negative 3 will come this side as this side, and it's going to be positive, right? So this is going to be, so x equals to negative 4 plus 3. Then negative 4 plus 3 is what? Negative 4 plus 3 is going to be, right, negative 1. Okay. So again, guys, here we worked it out. Then x, because you see 4 to the power of 2, which is 16. 16 comes out of the root as 4, right? But we take one positive and then one negative order. So it's either positive 4 or negative 4, right? Then because I have here x minus 3 equals to 4, x minus 3 equals to negative 4, then when we work this out, guys, this is going to be 7, or it's going to be negative 1, right? Okay, let's look at this question here. Okay, the question says x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals to 12. So we said the easiest standard form for quadratic equation, guys, right? Which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Means whatever number is on this side of equation, I need to take it, put it that side. So because at the end of my equation, I need to say equation equals to 0. So then it's going to be like this. X squared plus 2x, I'm just rewriting that, minus 3. I'm going to take this 12 to that side. It's going to be minus 12 equals to 0. Then I'll continue with this now. I'm gonna organize it more. It's going to be x squared plus 2x, right? Negative 3, negative 12 will be negative 15, and that equals to 0. Okay, now I am looking for the factors of negative 15. When I add them together, they must give me positive 2. For Swiss numbers, the factors of 15 are 1 and 5, 1 and 15, and 5 and 3. Because when I add them together, they must give me 2. That's why I'm going to just look at the smaller factors, which will be 5 and 3. So I need to decide now whether they're going to be positive 5, negative 5, which one is going to be positive, which one is going to be negative. So, right, so now I'm going to do this. I'm not going to try all of them because I know what they are. It's going to be 5. It's going to be negative 3. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. 5 plus negative 3 is positive 2. Right, so remember how we write it, we're going to write with x. So my factors are x plus 5 times x minus 3. Right? And remember, what we do, these are my factors. I'm going to make each factor equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to say x plus 5 equals to 0. Then x will be what? X equals to, take this 5 to that side, it's going to be negative 5. Then I'm going to do this one here. X minus 3 equals to 0, right? Then x will be what? Equals to, take this negative 3 to that side, it's going to be positive 3. Okay, so x is either negative 5 or positive 3. Right. Right, so the next question will be this one. Okay. Right, in this question, again, also same thing. As you can see, it is not in standard form because x squared is that side. Remember, we said the equation must be equal to 0. So I'm just gonna take that side or take everything else. That doesn't matter. I'll take these values to that side of equation. So what is already here is x squared, right? Then x squared, this negative positive 13x, if I take it to this side, is going to be minus 13x. Negative 42, if I take it that side, it's going to be positive 42. And that equals to 0, right? So now it is in standard form, so I can work with this, okay? So I am basically looking for the factors of 42, and the same factors, when I add them together, they must give me negative 13. Okay, and those factors are obviously negative 6 and negative 7. Why? Because negative 6 times negative 7 is positive 42. Because when we multiply, remember, we get this, and when we add them together, we get the middle value, which is negative 13x. So negative 6 plus negative 7 is going to be negative 13, right? So, and then obviously these are my factors. So again, how we write the factors, I'm going to say x minus 6, right? X minus 6 times x minus 7. Right, again, the final step of this, obviously, we're going to make each factor equal to 0. So I'm going to say x minus 6 equals to 0, then x equals to, take this negative 6 to that side, it's going to be positive 6. Then I'm going to say x minus 7, right, equals to 0. Then again, x will be, take this negative 7 to that side, it's going to be positive 7. Okay, so this is going to be my answer. Right, so next question. Alright, so next question is going to be, just remove that. Okay, this one, yeah. Right, so for this question, as you can see here, 1 plus 1 over x minus equal to 2. So it's basically, guys, 1 over 1, right? Then 1 over 1 plus 1 over x minus 3 equals to 2. So, right, if we work this out, guys, make the denominators equal, we're just going to do it. So I'm going to show you with the details. You don't have to do this because you can say x minus 3 times 1 plus 1, right? But I'm going to show with all the details so at least you know what it is. So, right, so it's going to be what? If you work like that, it's going to be x minus 3 times 1 will be x minus 3, right? Over x minus 3 plus 1, right? So I'm just going to write on the same thing over x minus 3, and that's equals to 2 over 1, right? So then we're just going to do a cross multiplication, obviously, but before that, this x minus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is x minus 2. So this is going to be x minus 2 over x minus 3. That equals to 2 over 1. So if I do a cross multiplication, so this is going to be this x minus 2 equals to 2 times x minus 3. I'm just going to do it here. 2 times x will be 2x minus 2 times 3 will be 6, right? So it's going to be minus 6, right? As you can see, so now if I work out this, it's going to be like this, right? I'm just going to take this x to that side, and then I'm going to take negative 6 to that side. So 2x is here. This x taken that side is going to be minus x equals to negative 2 is here, right? Oops, let me just, okay, let me first take this 6 to that side. It will be positive 6 because it's negative now, right? Minus 2 is here. That equals to what? 2x minus x will be x. 6 minus 2 will be 4. So value of x is 4, guys. So this, like I said, this is just a simple equation. We just find the value of x for this question, right? We don't, like I said, you don't really have to do all of this, but I show you where this comes from. So like simply you can say x minus 3 times 1 will be x minus 3 again, plus 1 will be x minus 3 plus 1 will be x minus 2. If you do that, so you're gonna say, you see here, time this and then plus with that. So what happens if you do this? It's going to be x minus, because x minus 3 times 1 will be x minus 3, then plus this 1 equals to 2, right? Then continue, x minus 3 plus 1 will be minus 2, x minus 2, right? Then I'm just going to continue, x minus 2 equals to what? 2. Continue then, x equals to what? Take this negative 2 that side, equals to 2 is there, this negative 2 will be positive 2, then x equals to, right, this is going to be 4. But this is the long way, this is the guaranteed way. So this, when you need to do this, now that is going to be this when you're ready for, well, not ready, when you practice too much, so you don't have to go through all of this. You just look at it now, you know what to do. X minus 3 times 1 plus 1 equals to 2, then you work it out and you get it out. Next question, let's look at this one here. So for this, guys, all you need to do is just that, as you can see. Now, when we do this, what happens here is this. Okay, x minus 2, because if you do this cross multiplication times x minus 7, right, equals to 2 times negative 3, right? That will be, okay, I'm just going to write down this. 2 times negative 3 will be negative 6, right? But here, now we just need to work this out. We can say x times x times 7. You see negative 2 times x, negative 2 times 7. Okay, then it will be what? X times x will be x squared, right? And then x times negative 7 will be negative 7x. Negative 2 times x will be negative 2x. Negative 2 times 7, negative 7 will be positive 14. Equals to negative 6. I'm just going to organize it small. It's going to be this. X squared, negative 7x, negative 2x will be negative 9x. Right, negative 9x. Then F14 here, I'm going to take this negative 6 also that side. It's going to be 14 plus 6 will be 20. Plus 20 equals to 0. Now again, there is a trinomial, as you can see. I need the factors of 20, and the same factors when I add them, they must give me negative 9. So it's gonna be what? Negative 5 and negative 4. Why? Because negative 4 times negative 5 is going to be positive 20. Remember, negative times negative is positive. Then negative 4 plus negative 5 is going to be negative 9. So my factors are going to be what? X minus 5 times x minus 4, right? Then what we do when we find the factors, we're going to make them equal to 0. So I'm going to say x minus 5 equals to 0, then x is 5. Right, then I'm going to say x minus 4 equals to 0, x equals to positive 4. This is how we do. So we just do cross multiplication here, right? As you can see, x minus 2 times x minus 7. I just organize this, right? And then I take this negative 6 from here to that side because in quadratic equations, we said we're going to make the equation equal to 0. So I'm going to take this to that side. I reorganize this, then it becomes a trinomial. I just find the factors. I make each factor equal to 0. And then we're done. Okay. Right. So as I told you guys, there is going to be a question of interest. So here I just have one example. There you will get two figures, basically two questions. You're either going to do both questions with the simple interest or both questions with compound interest. Okay, please don't ask me now every time you see me, are we gonna do this, that? You can do both, simple and compound. Okay, whichever answer is correct, I'll take that one, right? But the question, remember I told you in class, I'm going to give you an option of doing either simple interest or compound. So that will apply for both questions. You either do both questions with simple interest or both questions with compound interest. Okay. So now when we look at this, calculate final amount with simple interest for the following problem. Right, I said, like I said, I just took one. A loan of 300 at a rate of 8% for 1 year. Okay, by the way, you will be allowed to use your calculators. You can basically say right? The simple interest formula, A equals to, A is after, right? So A equals to P, initial amount or previous amount, right? P1, which has no function, just comes in the formula, right? 1 plus I times, and I is interest rate and is period of time. So here we don't know what A is. So if I put that thing in the formula, guys, so A will be equals to 300, right? Times, open the bracket, 1 plus I. What is the interest rate? As you can see, as 8%. You can write 8% or you can say 0.08, right? Right, then times n. After how many years it says, we'll simplify the loan after 1 year, times 1. So if you do that, that will give you the answer. Okay, if we 8, what is 8% of 300? 8% of 300 will be, guys, 24 rand. So interest will be, right, because 300, guys, I'm just gonna do that also here, times 8 over 100, right? That equals to 24 divided by 100. So, okay, just cancel this. 20 equals to 24. 24 is the amount of interest. Now you, right, to get a loan from bank, it's 300 rand. But now when you repay, you have to pay 24 rand more than 300 because this 24 is the interest that was accumulated for that loan. So then the final amount you have to repay is going to be 300, which is your initial amount, plus 24, which is the interest rate. And that equals to 324. So now, what if that was a compound interest? Your answer would have been the same for 1 year. Remember, compound interest and simple interest, okay, change after the first year. Because for 1 year, it's going to be the same. Like from second year, then it will be different. Okay, I'm gonna do this for same thing. I'm just gonna do it for 2 years, right? So that you understand it much better, hopefully. Right, so let's see. Okay, so see if this question was saying, right, after 2 years, not this, you see this 1 year, I'm just gonna make it 2. After 2 years, now how much money will be there? So we said now for the 1 year, we found that, I'm just gonna quickly write it here. For this, we're gonna say 8 over 100, right? That equals to 24, right? The total loan will be 324 because what? 24 plus 300 will be 324. If it was 2 years, remember once we find the simple interest guy, it doesn't change. Simple interest will remain the same every year. So now, after second year, because after 1 year, this is the money that will be accumulated. So after the second year, remember every year now we're going to add 24 rand because that's the amount of the interest. And once we find it for simple interest, it doesn't change. So for the second year, I'm just going to write it here, guys. Year one, right? 2. I'm going to just do it for 3 years. So year 1, guys, is equals to this amount here, 324. Right. Therefore, this second year, guys, then it's going to be this for second year. Every year, remember, this is the amount of interest. Every year, I'm going to add that. So how much money I have after 1 year? 324. I'm going to add plus 24. So that is going to be how much? 348. Now, when I come to third year, how much money I have? Now, look at here, 348 plus, right, 348 plus 24, and that is going to be 372. So It doesn't matter how many years it is. Every year you just add 24, 24, 24 because that's the amount of the interest. And for simple interest, once we find the amount of interest, it doesn't change. Every year you just add it on. Right, or like I said, you can just put everything in a formula. Say ask for after 5 years, just this one is going to be 5. Then you will get the answer. But I'm doing this for you to get the logic of this. Okay. So if it was, I'm gonna do this. If again this was 2 years, why I'm saying 2, because now when I do compound, remember compound and simple interest will be the same for after 1 year. That's why we can change it to 2 years. Right, so compound interest, guys, the interest will change every year. Right, because why it changes is because interest always added, we always take the interest of accumulated amount. That's why it changes. But remember, for simpleness, you always take the interest of the initial amount. That's why it's the same, it doesn't change. Right, but with the compound, we take the interest of accumulated amount. That's why it always changes. And the formula for that is going to be this. A equals to P, right, 1 plus I to the power of n. So tell me the difference. This n is I times n for simple interest. Now n is the power. Okay. Again, guys, A is after, right, the final amount. P is the previous amount or the initial amount. 1 has no function, just comes in the formula. And I is the interest rate. N is the number of years, right? So if we do this, we apply this in the formula, guys, we're going to say I equals to, what is P? 300 Rand. That is the initial amount, 300 Rand, right? 1 plus, what is interest rate? Is 0.08, right? Then to the power of n, we say n is what? 2 years. If you put this in your, these figures in your calculator, since you are going to be allowed to use calculator, right, then you will get the answer. Or you can do this. No, it's for 2 years. It's not difficult. We can work it out. You see, now for the first year, we said the simple and compound interest are going to be the same. So when we work out the simple interest after first year, right, the total amount was, it became 324, right? 324, right? Because just gonna do it. Okay, let me rather do it. Right, because guys, remember we said we're just gonna say year 1, the first year. Okay, this is the first year. What we do, 300 times 8%, right? 8 over 100, that equals to 24. This 24 is the amount of the interest. So after 1 year, this is the interest. This was the initial money. So it's going to be 300 plus 24, that equals to 324. Right, again, million times again, guys. After the first year, the simple interest and compound interest are the same. That's why you see it's 24. So year 2, remember, for simple interest, I just add another 24 for second year. For third year, another 24. But now compound interest is not like that. Compound interest, I'm now gonna say that accumulated amount is this 324. Now I'm gonna say this accumulated amount times 8 over 100. Right, that equals to what? I'm just quickly gonna do it. So it's going to be, right, 324 times 8%. Okay, so that equals to 25 Rand, 25.92. So then I'm gonna say this is the interest that is and that came after second year. So I'm gonna say now how much money I had before, 324. So I'm gonna say 324 plus 25.90, and that equals to how much? That equals to 349, right, 0.92. Okay, so if there is a third year, guys, the third year now I'm gonna take, because now after second year, this is the money that is accumulated 349.92. I'm gonna take 8% of this. Whatever comes out of that, I'm gonna add this for the third year. Fourth year, I'm gonna look at again how much money is there. I'll take 8% of that. So every year you take the interest of accumulated amount, and this is going to be compound interest. Okay. Any question? Let me see. No, it's the last question. There is a question, guys, for numbers and patterns, like we've discussed in class. But for that question, you're not going to do any calculations. Remember, we have 4 types of sequences. We spoke about that. Say, for example, Fibonacci numbers. You need to know what it is, right? What we said for that, we're going to say, right, say 0, 1, right, 2. We're going to add the previous number with the current number, we get the next number, right? And that's always that. So there will be a sequence there. You're going to look at that, and then there will be 4 sequences, because the 4 type of numbers we learn: the square numbers, triangular, and Fibonacci, right? And then what else we learn? Yeah, it is another thing, right? Whatever, but 4 type of numbers. The names will be even there in the question. You're just going to look at that. You're going to investigate it. You're going to say, I think it was last question. You're going to say, okay, you go to write down the sequence, and then you're going to say this is Fibonacci. That is like triangular or square or whatever. Right, so that is going to be that you don't have to do any calculation. Okay, so that's it. Now you're gonna have to go and study for your test. I wish you all the best.